over to EXP. And this is good for Homeboys, actually, because they actually want to unlock WAF as soon as possible. WAF is going to be a very big component for upcoming team fights, so the quicker he's out of lane, the better.
Talk about Cram being the potential sacrificial lamb. That's 2 flickers out thanks to Udil's earlier movement. And now even coming in with the wall to just stagger the wave a little bit, bring it closer to Homeboy's side.
SRG looking a little bit frazzled here, and I'm not sure who got that one.
Sakai is trying to fight this based on the Tempest of Blaze as well, I believe. Sakai's might have gotten it. I look at the experience in a little bit, but again, Homeboy's passing to top side, clear out the wave, get Soul that lead.
The timing's a bit unfortunate. Sky's pathing top was actually really nice because if he's able to get a kill onto Soul before he hits level 4, there's no risk of him getting a free escape with Brilliance. But Homeboy's already in position to make sure that that cannot happen. And that's already after forcing a flicker out from Yumes in the mid lane. This early game going well for them.
I always say that. Luckily, we turn away as he gets picked up.
That's flicker. Yumes did find Amao in the jungle once more. Turtle goes over to Sakai. Sakai's not going to join in though. He's too far away. And Yumes turn on, did use the ultimate already. Stolen wild charge by Stormy just in case.
Yeah, I think once Yumes already knew that Amao was hovering around his purple buff, instantly we saw Slinger Red Giants jump right on top of the turtle, and it's all about how long can Yumes actually buy time for the team. Oh, wait, engage.
That's the ultimate from Wudu. Oh, Yumes, unfortunately, no kick, no flicker, not gonna go for it.
Yeah, Crimson Beacon looks like a very visually cool ult, but man, gets you out of some pretty tight spots. Looking at top side though, Innocent versus Soul, looks like the EXP is roughly about the same. That lane is going even, so no lane advantages there whatsoever. We look down at bot side and it's just Cram with a level lead onto WAF currently. Not 100% sure whether it's like he missed minions or whether he is actually very close to level 5.
Yeah, not too sure.
Oh, wow.
He lost a decent chunk of minions, actually. Where did that come from?
WAF has been in lane the whole time, and we haven't really seen Cram put that much pressure on him. In fact, it was Cram who got pulled back initially, so that's not the best sign. But the good thing about Arlet is that his utility doesn't need him to be too close in terms of EXP.
Good attempt from Yumes, and that's Brilliance out. They know they're not going to get it. Udio not that lucky this time. No mana to work with. Sakai finds the first blood.
Nicely done by Sakai. The re-gank as well. Trying to hard push him while having that rotation up. SRG trying to make sure that they don't miss out on EXP, that they don't lose out on free resources across the map.
Yeah, and good timing from Skies as well, taking advantage of Homeboys' increased pressure in the top lane to catch Udil off guard. That's what they need to do.
You're gonna catch WAF in the bottom side as well. This time there's no escape. Scram secures the kill and the lead extends in the XP side.
Okay, this is where Homeboys needs to start buckling up a little bit. Okay, there we go.
Counter attack, that's like a wild charge. Stormy dashes, Tempest of Blaze to follow. Cram tried to save him, not able to do so, but finds the Earth Shatter knock up. Amao trap, but finish points out of the way, hops on the wall. SRG loses their mid laner.
Oh, all this while, Innocent just hard shoving, just making sure that he can like slow down this wave. He needs a way to start getting ahead into this matchup, and the only way to do that is through these turtles. So SRG, they're gonna have to fight tooth and nail for these early objectives, even though technically their composition doesn't really want to do that.
Yeah, Homeboy's doing a great job of it so far, and I actually am really impressed with how well Amal has been performing on these assassins, considering how long he has been playing them. Matching up the performance. Oh, WAF!
They're gonna punish him again. Primal Wrath, couple of steel cables. WAF is taking advantage of in the bottom side. And that means SRG will have members for this turtle fight. Yumes is gonna be the first at the scene.
Will he be able to contest it? It's dropping real low. Tempest of Blades will secure the turtle. Not too much problem. A kick though.
Yeah, flicker kick. That's gonna be so brilliant. Only buying a bit of time. The inevitable will be dead. No, actually, so bit of a fancy movement gets out of the way.
Well, it looks like both teams have kind of assimilated to a very similar playstyle, right? I mean, Homeboys, they're not really a pick-off composition, but the way that they are playing seems very much like it. They're trying to poke out, they're trying to displace people. Wait, Stormy's in so much trouble.
Yeah, he's holding on to the wild charge, gotta use it. Give it the beacon wheel, beams him down, brings that Innocent into the fray as well, and that's Hammond forced out. Again, skills tipped for Homeboys. As Cram man fights WAF with the Primal Wrath, finds the kill, flickers to buy distance, but only to be picked back up by Udil and taken down by Amao.
I feel like the flicker forward is a bit too greedy. He could have flickered backward and still gotten the kill and gave himself more room to get out. Red Giants was not ready to follow up. But both teams are actually trading very, very evenly. I am loving the footwork coming in from all of these players. And we can really see why Udil wanted to prioritize the Zeus in despite what seemed like a bait from their opponents. Pulling Stormy back twice was huge.
It was huge. And looking based on the items here, pretty sure we are missing a couple. But so far, we're just waiting for the seconds as they get into this next one. I mean, good brilliance so far. SRG, a lot of their moves just completely thwarted. They are not finding these. Oh!
That's the kick onto Mao. Pretty beefy. Not able to finish him off. The guy from the back actually takes care of Soul, who does not have brilliance. Can Amao clean up the mess? Doesn't seem like it. Wild Charge does not find the timing, and Amao gets to run away because of that.
Good fingers. Real fast there, but now that he's off the wall, he should be in a lot of trouble.
Ooh, and
He didn't get the auto off? Man, he was out of range. That's so sad.
Yeah, it was just a little bit too far. That would have been a really nice kill, but Red Giants gaining a little bit of a foothold again, able to trade for Soul without losing anything in return. But I am really shocked by how close this game has ended up being. The Homeboys lineup has done a lot of preparation.
Use another kick to Udil. That's Purify out. Doesn't have a shun pole. Didn't get lifted up, thankfully. I think SRG is starting to understand. We can't just go in for a one-way ticket fight. We gotta be able to push and pull. We have Sakais, we have Vincent, and that is what we're good at. It's how they kind of won that skirmish in the first place. Bait our resources.
This match, we're going into 8 minutes now. 1k net worth lead for the Red Giants. Honestly, not that much at this point. Humes looking for Soul, but already scouted out as well. Both teams are on maximum alert. They know that this game could shift in either direction just from one mistake.
Yeah, it's very close. It's very close between the two. SRG recognizes that if Udil is able to stick on top of them, it's a big problem. But worse yet, there's still plenty of counter engage almost immediately after. Not to mention iframes. Whoa!
Wow, the counter conceal. Mao missing the wild charge flicker.
Innocent in trouble.
Unfortunate, but Innocent might not be that lucky. Trying to get rescued by Humes. Innocent still on the run. Amao chases him down. There's still Tempest of play. Surely it's the kill, right? Chrono dash away. And meanwhile, the backline exposes Cram, trying to give himself to protect his team, and might even find a kill in the process. Udil doesn't find it, but it's Sakais with the backstab to take out Soul.
Now that's the finesse we've been looking for from the Red Giants. An excellent disengage, paced out, no panic. Every single player making sure to do what is necessary for them to get out on their own. And this guy's coming in at the end for the follow-up, targeting Soul, not even getting baited by the other lower health members.
Oh, let's see how long they can hold that up for, right? 30 more seconds. Current score 3-6 so far. SRG, very similar. Wait, another kick.
Bit off angle, but maybe the damage is enough.
Oh!
Final slat clips Innocent. He dashes away. Chrono dash cooldown reduced by Zaman. Force Sakais just leads at the back again. Left, right, center. He's everywhere. On the ladder, Dawn. And Udil uses the Purify to gain some distance. Good stun.
No way.
Get Cram away. But Soul pops the brilliance. It's just a matter of seconds.
The layering is so good, actually, from both teams. Red Giants are playing the map and their angles a little bit better, but Homeboys are keeping up their thinking. They're making sure to respond and react very, very quickly and use their own HP, even on the core players, as resources to try and preserve as many of their teammates as possible.
Man, it's a preview of what we can expect from these two teams if they ever meet again down the road in that playoff bracket. But for now, SRG on the lure, and Homeboys not in a position to contest.
Unless, I mean, they're concealing forward. They got a 50-50 in. If not,
yeah, can't find it though. They did get Cram. Still has the ultimate, lifted out second time. Mao to the back, finds Stormy. Stormy steals the wild charge to gain distance. And at the end of the day, Homeboys finds Cram, but SRG gets lured.
A little slow to contest the Lord, though it didn't really look like Homeboys really wanted to challenge it. Getting Cram there is huge, but Skies just jump straight in.
Man, that cable miss. A bit scary.
Oh, it is scary. PTSD from what happened earlier, but with the Lord pushing in, Slumber Red Giants, they definitely want to correct the mistake that they did the last time in game number 2. And I think that Homeboys, if they're going to take any precautionary measures, they need to somehow harass Humes out of position.
when you compare it to the previous game, this Lord doesn't do as much gold lead as kind of their Lord moment in game 2. Just measly 2.4, clipping at a 2.5k net worth advantage. See how much damage they can do.
It's not that much just yet. Homeboys are still in a pretty okay position. Amal being scouted down here, has to be careful.
And that lethal ignition prop did look a bit scary. Clearly the 1v1 goes over to the side of Sakai's. Top tier 2 down as well.
3k net worth lead. Only the first Lord of the game, surprisingly. It feels like it's been a lot longer than that, but here he goes!
The good kick, that's so down. The impetus for SRG in the hands of Humes. Now Lord pounding with the inhibitor should be taken care of fairly easily, but that opens up the map for SRG to take down all outer tier defenses.
Well, let's not forget about Sakai as well. He is so big. He's 5-0-1. He's got plenty of damage to actually take out any target that he wants. Question is whether do they have iframes or anti-CC? You take your pick.
Yeah, Red Giants are doing a very good job right now. They're just pressuring the lanes over and over, getting as much damage on the towers as possible. The next Lord gonna be 60 minutes away, so any kills they can get in that meantime will be a plus point, but Homeboy's gonna look for a response.
Oh wow, if he just dashes in like that, could be the fatal mistake. Knock-up Jit couldn't dose, the guy's from the back, doesn't find the angle. Primal Wrath used by Cram already, he's willing to take this fight if Budio lets him. The Homeboys being corralled in an awkward position. Cram completely fine with being the front line. SRG takes everything they can.
No overcommitting from the Red Giants here, which is the smart choice. We've already seen these positions being given up from mistakes like that. So respecting Homeboys after dropping a game earlier. Homeboys also not going too far after realizing they have no more resources. There's a lot of respect happening between these teams, but we know that Red Giants is in control of the map, which is bad news for the Homeboys since the Lord is coming up in 10 seconds.
Homeboys have no real means of actually trying to contest the opposing purple buff to slow down this fanning, and I think it's been way too long since they've even considered that option. But now that it is coming to the next Lord, let's see how SRG do it again, right? Take control of this Riverline and a good kick.
That's a kick. The follow-up is there. Innocent and Stormy joins Mao. Wow, charge stops Stormy. Pick him up by Wudio. Very good connection. And that's the mid lane down. The 3-man follow-up. That is Crab with the Rush Shatter. He breaks apart the entire fight with that one counter engage. And Sakai's all the liberty in the world chase down his prey. Wudio ain't going nowhere this time. A wipeout for SRG. And a march down the mid lane to claim the opening series of the season.
They have done it once again. They won from the first match of Season 13 and they will claim it in the first match of Season 14 as the Selangor Red Giants take down the Homeboys.
They broke the stalemate, finally. Humes just got into position, got into some faces, face-checked the rush, and found a kick that started a win. Nicely done by SRG, but I'm actually very happy with how Homeboys play with this game. If I'm a fan, they shouldn't be too disappointed. That's a very high ceiling that they can get up to.
I agree with you. Let's let Rose handle the rest with the Red Giants on stage.
Kemenangan pertama untuk musim ke-14 Selangor Red Giants 2-1 menentang Homeboys. So guys, first of all, kindly give our winners a round of applause. Walaupun winners kita jauh. Alright guys, a round of applause everybody. Okay. Semua takut nak dekat dengan I sebab I pegang mic ke? Okay, everybody to the front. Okay. Oh, mic. Okay, so can we start off with Sakai's first? Our Sky Prince in Malaysia. Sky Prince is back. Hi Sakai.
Hello.
First of all, an amazing series. Tapi, I nak tahu, apa yang menjadi di game kedua?
For game 2, actually, I will take the blame.
Wow.
Take the blame.
Kenapa you yang take the blame? You all fight players.
For my perspective, it's my mistake. All of them is my mistake.
I see. Okay, I don't think your teammates would agree with you taking the full blame. Okay, can we go to Innocent? Okay, Innocent. Orang kata dia ni half human, half wolf. But just now we saw you play Lunox. What was the Lunox pick all about? Are we not gonna see Roger anymore?
Yeah, they don't want me to give Roger. That's why I'm using other heroes.
Which means Lunox.
Yeah.
Will we be seeing more unorthodox picks when it comes to gold lane?
A lot.
A lot, okay? I rasa kita boleh stay tuned sebab Innocent nampaknya ada banyak strat up his sleeves untuk musim ini, and I like that. I'll stay tuned for that, okay? Alright, guys, MBSJ. I think daripada game tadi, kita dah agak-agak tahu siapa MVP. Tapi I nak dengar daripada fans ada dalam Dewan ni. Siapa MVP anda? Okay, so apa kata kita tengok MVP kita? In 3, 2, 1. MVP perlawanan ini jatuh kepada The Sky Prince. Makin lama makin belakang korang. Depan. Okay, so guys, sekarang MVP of the match. First match musim ini siap package dengan Maniac. Is this a sign or is this a premonition that SRG wants a back-to-back this MPL?
Okay, first of all, I think first match ni saya MVP mungkin sebab ini sekarang meta assassin. Kalau tak, Innocent yang MVP biasanya. So I think it's just because of the meta. And then for the back-to-back, I think we're gonna make it because we already orang cakap langkah kanan lah. So yeah.
Alright, so sebelum I let you guys off, kita bagi dekat Yums je tak cakap lagi hari ni. Okay, Yums, apa yang Yums nak cakap kepada fans yang hadir ke MBSJ hari ini?
Kepada fans-fans, terima kasih sebab datang, support kita orang. Tanpa korang, kita orang bukanlah apa-apa.
Wow! Alright, you guys may now go celebrate your victory. Once again, congratulations to Selangor Red Giants. Baru hari pertama musim 14 ni, tapi game dah sengit, game dah panas. But jangan risau sebab selepas ni kita ada lagi perlawanan satu lagi. But before that, let us hear the mic check of this game.
Diagram. Dah. Nice one. Take Vincent.
ada
Ini Hasan. Agak. Chill lah. No, Yum, dia tak ada purify. No purify ah. Okay, my ulti 35.
Ito no purify Yum Ito na play kira.
Nice one.
Tengok sini guys. No purify. Red no purify.
Yes.
Nice one.
Mati.
Aku wall. Tadi.
A much closer series than many of us could have anticipated. But the Red Giants are the ones who ultimately come out on top. I gotta get you guys' opinions. Is this what you expected?
100% no. I came in and I was like, yeah, SRG, they're gonna 2-0. It's gonna be the same thing all over again. But I'm glad that Homeboys were able to put up a performance such as this with almost new lineup, right? It not only exposes that, okay, Giants can bleed, but at the same time, very promising considering we have so many old guards in the roster.
Yeah, I agree. I think that even with the extra bit of experience, it definitely is going to help shape some of these players to get even better. But I'm also very impressed with Homeboys, right? The fact that they were able to get not only just the series, but the fact that they made that last game as close as it could possibly get with the lineups that they got. Considering that they're not like throwing their lives randomly, it feels a little strange to watch. Am I watching MPLMY or what am I watching right now? Because it's a pretty overall clean and macroly almost perfect game.
You can really tell that after game 2, Homeboys actually forced Red Giants in a position where they genuinely had to play quite disciplined and respectful of their opponents. It was not messing around anymore. They understood there was a genuine chance of being taken by surprise, so they locked in, and even then, Homeboys put up a strong fight. Skies, he's gonna be the MVP of the match. The Sky Prince, his legacy continues.
And considering that I personally feel in terms of game tree, sure, it's still a red side win, but then you look at how Coach Jeff drafted in the first phase, right? It did mitigate a lot of the innate advantage you would have on red side, and that's how the game ended up that close. If not for some big plays from Yums or Cram, I think we would have had an even more extended game tree.
Yeah, probably, honestly. I do think that like Sakai's overall as a jungler is very creative with the way that he gets into these fights, right? And luckily he did get access to the Fanny, so the way that he flanks is also extra crisp and strike. He knows how to do those right angle turns when necessary, right? That's how he catches Soul off guard multiple times, even though they've already checked their flanks. So I think that in general, if Sakai's is going to get an assassin, if it has like omni movement at this point, you gotta be careful, man. He's dangerous.
He's 15-2, right? And both deaths came from his game 1 Nolan. Hey, his Fanny was essentially flawless.
Yeah, we can see 9-0 and a 1 on the Fanny. Absolutely insane. And that's when first picking Fanny too on the red side. This is not usually a hero you would pick very, very early on. So it speaks to how well Coach Arcadia and Ozora Vecchi were drafting to make sure that a lot of the usual tools you have to deal with this were just taken off the table.
Yeah, I think a lot of it just comes down to pressure, right? It comes down to the order of your picks that really predetermines it. The battle already starts once that draft starts. So again, congrats to both of these coaches. They put on a very good show here before their players did the rest of the work. But I do think that red side genuinely is going to be the more devastating side. I don't think there's enough answers on blue side. And as much as I want to believe that, like, oh yeah, Lunox is a perfect answer to the Harith, it's under the caveat of, can you get her to that point? Can you get her to the Holy Crystal?
At least it's not completely hopeless, right? I agree, red side definitely has the advantage, but homeboys have shown us blue side, there are certain ways to navigate around that. And I know this is probably a bit late, but I gotta bring it up. Big props to Coach Jeff. Previous season when Coach Pals was still around, I think a lot of people were putting them side by side, but Pals kind of takes the limelight. But you can really see the brilliance of Coach Jeff show after, Pals transfer to Team Vamos, and I think he deserves credit for that.
Yeah, he does. He does. Really great second half of the drafts. Honestly, really good adjustment from game number 2, right? Because there was some sort of foresight of expecting them to adjust, and even then, he still got a pretty good read on it.
It's great to see that he's been able to bring homeboys to greater heights, and having this understanding of your players when they themselves think that the lineup is still very new is the mark of a good coach. So hopefully we get to see him and the rest of the homeboys continue growing throughout the season as well, because if they can bring SRG this tight, they could genuinely be contenders against the ex-homeboys lineup too.
I mean, can you imagine we get a homeboys SRG grand final down the road, but it's a completely different roster.
I know, right? That would be insane.
But I
That'd be pretty funny.
A lot of eyeballs would probably be on WAF, right? He's kind of the minor X factor at this point. You can see the rawness in him, and that would take some time to polish, but aside from that, I think they're on the right path.
My only issue with him right now is that he doesn't have much of an identity, right? Is he really good at laning? Is he good at team fights? I still don't know just yet, because he hasn't played enough games to really say for sure what his preference is going to lean towards.
We haven't seen the presence that WAF creates in the Land of Dawn just yet. His Hylos was not a good time, but he has had moments of brilliance on this Arlet. A lot of the reason why homeboys were able to win game 2 was because of that final slash pushing people out of position. So what else can he bring to the table when you remember that WAF, he has only played like 1 or 2 games in MPL his entire career.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. I mean, maybe he's just like a hardcore playmaker, right? Put him on the Yuzong, give him something with Petrify, maybe he can make something happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's a completely different identity, but I agree that the Arlet has shown many great moments, even in Game 3, right? Sure, they didn't win the game, and sure, he was punished every now and then, but you could see the angle that WAF was going for, right? Able to clip Innocent and Stormy multiple times in crucial team fights.
Yep. If we're talking about playmaking, though, I also want to give a huge shout out to Cram. I think if not for Skies having 9-0, I would have given him MVP this game. Because every single time that SRG got caught out, he was there ready to cut the fight. and be the front line to make sure that everyone else could get away. That last fight especially, it looked like, oh, SRG might get punished for fighting in this funnel. Suddenly Flicker Earth Shatter knocks up 3 people. The fight is just over. It was beautiful.
I didn't even notice this, man. I didn't even notice that Homeboys didn't touch the turret on the
Oh
side
my
of SRG.
god, wait. I didn't even notice that.
Hey, look, their composition isn't designed to take down these types of objectives. They're good at team fighting and like that, and maybe contesting for neutrals, but that's about it. Like towers, I don't know about that one. It's tough. It's tough. I don't think they have much high ground anyways, and I think that it was going to be a losing battle if it ever ended up in a situation of the Lord this is the 3rd Lord of the game. It's like, oh yeah, we can melt it down, but the minions, they're too strong to actually deal with.
We already know when Red Giants have a lead, they're so good at manipulating the map. So even though it looked tight, Homeboys just couldn't touch the structures. But still, Amal having the highest GPM in this game is very impressive. Cram being both the carry and the best wingman, showing the versatility of Edith.
And considering that you are up against a 9-0 Fanny and you still have highest GPM, that says something about Amal on that link. But yeah, Cram, we say that he's going to be the punching bag, you know, kind of sacrifice courtesy of SRG, and he becomes the bailout of the team and eventually the guy that wins the game, you know, ironically.
Now, guys, we got a new graphic for you. It's called the item build progression. What you see in front of you is when exactly these players purchase their items and at what time, or roughly in what order, in what time. You can see components and everything. Now, when we're looking at Soul, the first thing that he decided to go for was the Genius one, which I thought was kind of interesting. I thought maybe he wanted to go straight away into something greedy, you know, pick up maybe Blood Wings almost instantaneously, maybe even go for something a little bit, something that'll keep him alive in lane generally, right? But I think the big issue here was how quickly we expected some of these players to go for their tier 2 boots. It makes significant difference. But Udil, especially, once he gets that Gleaming Gem, that's when he is basically done for the laning phase, right? Yeah. He doesn't have a lot of stats, that's totally fine, but he will never run out of mana, so he never technically needs the recall.
I think the Soul's item progression is kind of same with what Innocent did in game 1, right? Genius 1 first item, and then you progress to that Holy Crystal. Got caught off guard by being assassinated by Sakai's twice. I think that's where they start to realize that if my Brilliance gets baited out, I'm in danger, but you're already kind of down that rabbit hole. There's no turning back for Blood Wings.
Yep. It's just too expensive. I feel like the build is just too expensive, right? Those 2 deaths in that time from when he got that Genius one at roughly around 4 minutes, about 12 minutes, man, that's like a huge time gap of not having like a second, well, barely a component, but not even a second item.
I mean, the Holy Crystal was supposed to be the moment where, okay, I'm ready to fight, just like him on the Tarn. And then that big play happened from Cram, so it kind of stings, you know.
But at least with the Tarn, it's like you've got other items kind of like compensate for in between. But I don't know. It's personal preference. I do feel like it's a bit of an awkward period of time for Lunox. But overall, I mean, based on the stats we're seeing so far here, 58% team fight participation comparatively to 42. Even though we had a split, technically we had Amal doing pretty poorly in game number 1, but he was split pushing the whole way. So
it's crazy, right? I mean, the statistics, like you would think that it would be a bit closer in terms of team fight participation, but
for sure,
SRG less active, way less active compared to Homeboys.
But I think it's a lot more decisive from SRG, because in game 2 they were just kind of throwing themselves at the Homeboys, and you saw how that turned out, right?
Oh yeah.
It cost them quite a bit. So you could tell that they were way more disciplined, a lot more selective with the fights that they decided to go for in game number 3. Even though they had heroes like the Fanny and the Edith who could be making plays early on, they actually didn't go for full aggro in the first couple of minutes. Yeah. And I get the feeling this may have lulled the Homeboys into a false sense of security in some way.
Well, possibly. I don't know. I definitely felt like Udil definitely had moments where he did overheat a little bit. Like he was going past battle lines to try and separate the fight into 2 by himself. I think that's when I felt like the Homeboys were maybe overdoing it. But it's SRG, right? They're as good as they can get, and I think that right now the meta punishes you for being so proactive, especially in the first 2 minutes of the game.
You can see Udil kind of slightly let his guard down when he was trying to clear a mid wave. without knowing where Sunrise
Yeah.
was. And
Yeah.
it gives you a good idea of where the headspace is. But I mean, I don't blame him, right? Sometimes you just lose track of these kind of
I mean, even after that happened, Udil was still very active, and he was able to pick off Stormy a couple of times, effectively winning out the mid lane matchup, even though he got picked off by Skies at the first point. And every single time Red Giants wanted to engage, the moment that Lantern comes out, they just can't really approach either. So I think Udil was doing a great job.
Or was he doing a great job, or is the hero busted? I think it's a little bit.
or
I think it's a little bit of both, because to be fair, he was getting more flickers than the average player.
that is true. Or is SRG adapting, right? Because they started kind of implementing, well, we can't just go be one and done with one team fight. We gotta push and pull, bait out the brilliance, get the Crimson Beacon out of the way.
They're like haggling for a discount of a team fight.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you have no ultimate, now we fight.
Yeah. Come on, man. Just use the ult, man. That's like 10% of the total price.
It is true, though. I mean, when it gets to those points, it really is about baiting resources out and taking the fight when you know that the enemy team doesn't have a lot of gas left. I think SRG initially wanted to try an all-in during specific points of the fight, then realized, oh, Homeboys is actually doing a very good job of layering their disengage. Like, we saw so many times players being able to get out by trading places, by zoning people, and not giving free kills over to the Red Giants. So they changed their approach. They go for off-tempo kills instead, with Skies just jumping in from the back when you least expect it. And Homeboys just wasn't quite able to adjust in time.
Well, I mean, as much as they want to adjust, it does mean that they aren't going to get as many points as they could have gotten. The Selangor Red Giants currently in top of the standings with 2 points with a 2-1 victory. Homeboys with 1 point with a 1 and 2 loss.
And if you ask me, is this the start I expect? I definitely wouldn't say
Yeah, I would not have expected it. I'm in the same boat.
But I would say it's a good start to the season, right? I mean, if people have already put the impression out that this is a fight for second place, who can be the second true representative of the Malaysian to take that slot into M6, I think right now, if we have a contender on our hand, just based off of first impression, this could be one of them.
Yeah, Homeboys. Gotta love them. They pull out the stops, they pull out the surprises, and I'm really looking forward to see if this team can continue growing. I hope that they do not lose steam after the first couple of weeks, because that's something that we've seen a lot, and it's not something we hope to propagate. But it's only the first game of the season. All the other 8 teams here, we have no idea what kind of potential they might be hiding.
Yeah, we don't know whether or not, maybe JP Niners have something involved. I mean, their lineup is also pretty interesting. Red Esports as well. There's a lot of things that are still going to be up in the air. And that's why week 1 is definitely where it's a lot more relaxed. It's a lot more figure out what these players are going to be up to, or at what state are they in their journey trying to get to M6.
If you ask me which team I'm actually very excited for, it's Red Esports, right? First team that got promoted from MAL, known as Red Riot prior to that. I want to see what these new stars have to show.
It's officially the first MAL team to make it. Their match will be next up. But for now, we're going to jump into a break. So make sure you guys join us. Even more MPL action coming right after this break.
jua? Jagokan lagi dengan rangkaian 5G termantap dan tanpa lag. Gaming sepantas kilat. Menang di Land of Dawn. Tukar ke Holling Prepaid 5G sekarang.
kenapa ni? Aduh, lima lagi kata sangat. Gunalah Head and Shoulders. 100% keyakinan, keluarmu dan kegatalan.
White out. Unstoppable.
Here, go get the money. So I go get it. Hate means I do something right. So I'ma let him. Yeah, I'ma let him. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'ma let him. I hit the nail on the head. Yeah, yeah, I'ma let him. All I hear, go get the money. So I go get it. Hate means I do something right. So I'ma let him. Yeah, I'ma let him. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'ma let him. I hit the nail on the head. Yeah, yeah, I'ma let him. Early bird, go get the worm. Worm in the dirt.
Kisah jago sukan apa jua? Jagokan lagi dengan rangkaian 5G termantap dan tak pelik. Gaming sepantas kilat. Menang di Land of Dawn. Tukar ke Holling Prepaid 5G sekarang.
Tangan aku kenapa ni? Aduh, 5 lagi gatal sangat. Gunalah Head and Shoulders. 100% keyakinan, kelumamu dan kegatalan.
White out. Unstoppable.
here, go get the money. So I go get it. Hate means I do something right. So I'ma let him. Yeah, I'ma let him. Yeah, I'ma let him. I hit the nail on the head. Yeah, I'ma let him. All I hear, go get the money. So I go get it. Hate means I do something right. So I'ma let him. Yeah, I'ma let him. Yeah, I'ma let him. I hit the nail on the head. Yeah, I'ma let him. Early bird, go get the worm. Worm in the dirt.
Tak kisah jago sukan apa jua, jagokan lagi dengan rangkaian 5G termantap dan tak pelik. Gaming sepantas kilat. Menang di Land of Dawn. Tukar ke Holling Prepaid 5G sekarang.
Salah berapa kali? Masya Teh.
Tangan aku kenapa ni? Aduh, lemu lagi, gatal sangat. Gunalah Head and Shoulders. 100% keyakinan, kelumamu dan kegatalan.
White out. Unstoppable.
Nghe mới thấy cái pha riêng luôn hả? Chị luôn.
All I hear, go get the money. So I go get it. Hate means I do something right. So I'ma let him. Yeah, I'ma let him. Yeah, I'ma let him. I hit the nail on the head. Yeah, I'ma let him. All I hear, go get the money. So I go get it. Hate means I do something right. So I'ma let him. Yeah, I'ma let him. Yeah, I'ma let him. I hit the nail on the head. Yeah, I'ma let him. Early bird, go get the worm. Worm in the dirt.
Tak kisah jago sukan apa jua, jagokan lagi dengan rangkaian 5G termantap dan tanpa lag. Gaming sepantas kilat. Menang di Land of Dawn. Tukar ke Holling Prepaid 5G sekarang.
Tangan aku kenapa ni? Aduh, limumu lagi gatal sangat. Gunalah Head and Shoulders. 100% keyakinan, kelemamu dan kegatalan.
Wiped out. Unstoppable.
I'm a rock star. Yeah, rock star. Hey, hey, hey. I'm a rock star, baby. I'm a rock star. I'm a rock star. I'm a rock star. I'm a rock star. Panggil aku rock star. Ini kejohanan kita semua orang rock star.
Kita rock star, kita buat saja gaya kita. Makin panas apinya sudah membara. Macam mana pun ku menempuh segala. Demi negara ku buat semua bangga. Step into my world, you know I'm always in my zone. You know I got my team, no I'm never alone. Bring out my best, buat yang terbaik. Jadi juara perlahan kita naik.
Aku nak push, naik-naik jadi lebih bagus. Jadi hero, ku ada skill. Berapa banyak musuh aku dah kill. Ramai cuba mencapai, cause they envy me. Tiap game aku pasti jadi MVP.
I'm a rock star, baby, I'm a rock star. I'm a rock star, I'm a rock star. I'm a rock star, panggil aku rock star. Ini kejohanan kita semua orang rock star.
I'm a rock star, baby, I'm a rock star. I'm a rock star, I'm a rock star. I'm a rock star, panggil aku rock star. Ini kejohanan kita semua orang rock star. Tengok nanti siapa yang juara. Ni peluang kita bawa pulang piala. This is my game, this is my time. Menang semua, everything will be mine. Kalau jatuh kau pasti kembali. Bangun balik ku tegak berdiri. Kuatkanlah tenaga, ganjaran diperoleh. Ni kejohanan kita, Malaysia memang boleh. Rise up to the top, kita buat bersama. Semangat kita kuat di bawah satu bendera.
I'ma go hard for the win. On the battlefield till the end. I'm trying to beat the greatest anyone has ever seen.
Stand by, I'm coming in for the win. I'm a rock star, baby, I'm a rock star. I'm a rock star, I'm a rock star. I'm a rock star, panggil aku rock star. Ini kejohanan kita semua orang rock star.
I'm a rock star, baby, I'm a rock star. I'm a rock star, I'm a rock star. I'm a rock star, panggil aku rock star. Ini kejohanan kita semua orang rock star. Ini kejohanan kita semua orang rock star. I'm a rock star, baby, I'm a rock star. I'm a rock star, I'm a rock star. I'm a rock star, panggil aku rock star. Ini kejohanan kita semua orang rock star.
MPLMY Season 14 is powered by Moonton and KPRJ. Official 5G mobile internet hotlink. Best 5G for lightning fast MLDB gaming. Official gaming phone ROG Phone 8. King of performance for mobile gaming. Official lifestyle fashion partner. Up your game with JD Sports. And thank you to all our partners in esports and
The newest season of MPL Malaysia has officially kicked off with a bang, and perhaps one of the more entertaining series we could have anticipated between the Red Giants and the Homeboys. But we're about to jump into our second game of the day, and the teams here are definitely very interesting to keep an eye on as well. My name is Stafa. Once again on the desk with me is Husky as well as Gideon. Gideon, how you feeling right now?
I'm feeling pretty good. I'm excited to see these two new teams. We're going to see a bunch of new faces today, and hopefully they're going to give us as much as a banger like the SRG versus Homeboys matchup.
Yeah. For me, I would like to see the, well, quote-unquote runner-up of past season. 4 of the ex-Homeboys players are now in Vamos up against the new bloods from MAL, right? First big stage appearance. Is it going to be what most people say, that they are not ready for MPL?
Well, it's always a question, isn't it? How big is the gap between MPL and MAL exactly? Especially since their first match is, like you mentioned, against most of the lineup of last season's runner-up. Red Esports used to be an MPL mainstay. They've been in every season of MPL for quite a while, missed out last season, but they've made a return with a brand new roster. But they will need to field some of their MAL players as well. So it means that they're gonna need the best equipment they could ask for, right?
Yeah, of course. I mean, how else are they going to be able to have like 60 frames a second?
Yeah, and I think there's no better equipment than the ROG Phone 8, the official gaming phone of MPL Malaysia Season 14 that helps all of these pros to constantly be at the top of their game by retaining the crown as the king of performance. Now, it even comes with a sleek new design, improved cameras, it goes beyond gaming.
Yeah, I've gotten my hands on it to play once on stage, and oh boy, battery life is great, latencies are great, optimization is perfect.
Besides that though, we'd also like to promote you guys. We're having a coloring contest for Hari Malaysia. It'll be ongoing from the 6th to the 10th of September. And you guys just need to scan this QR code on the screen right now to join. Very simple. We all know how to color. We all love color. And there's gonna be prizes that can be won as well. So any artists out there, this is your time.
I'm curious whether or not you're actually able to color it in digitally on top of doing it physically, because that adds a whole new layer to what you can actually produce. So good luck to everybody out there. If there are rules, well, you better read them quick. Scan that QR code and pick these up now so that you can be winning prizes between the 6th of September to the 10th of September.
Honestly, people who use physical crayons, color, watercolor, or digital one, you guys are outdated. I use AI.
Oh,
Wow.
this guy. This guy, the Chat GPT.
The Chat GPT, man. So you don't know how to hold a crayon.
Hey. Watch your mouth, boy. You might be right, but
you've never tasted the flavor of purple. Let's look at the standings so far, because we just ended our very first BO3 between SRG and as well as the Homeboys, both of them being top of the class right now, 2 points and 1 point respectively. But the real question is about Team Ray and Vamos. Where do you guys think they are going to end up by the end of this week?
It's a good question. Team Vamos, they have 4 players from the starting Homeboys lineup from last season, have already played on international stages. So logically speaking, they should rank pretty high. I think a lot of people should expect them to be top 3 at least. But for Red Esports, there's going to be a lot of questions. You have a mixture of new faces from MAL, as well as imported veterans like Sensui and Owl. Like, what a strange dynamic.
Yeah, it is strange, but that's kind of what makes it interesting, right? How it works. But of course, we gotta look at Vamos first. 4 out of the 5 players were runner-up from the previous season, but it technically is a reunion, right? They brought Warlord back.
It's nice to see him back again. We all remember when a Warlord performed very well with the ex-Homeboy players of Chibi, Zorn, and Net. But this time, instead of Sapat, they're going to have Smooth rounding out their EXP lane.
This is rather interesting because I think there's been a lot of criticism around Sapat specifically when it comes down to like the top tier of play and why Homeboys previously with this lineup wasn't able to actually get to where they needed to be. And I think that Smooth is a pretty interesting quote-unquote upgrade for them. But then when you start comparing them to Red Esports, whether you're going to have to take on people like Iris, for an example. Sensui is going to be playing today, but we are also getting the new faces here. Husky, you are well familiar with Dinesh, Nico, and as well as Tashi. Tell me about them. They came from the MAL, you casted it.
I think they excel in the Challenger Conference because they had the biggest proactive desire to make big moves. I think my eye is going to be on Tashi as a gold laner. Likes to play aggressive, likes to be in your face, but up against Nets, you gotta be able to control the aggression a little bit.
That is true. Control is important. But we also have a bit of a ping test recording for you guys to have a look at here. This is when the players were preparing, making sure that all of the devices were working correctly. And this is, of course, brought to you by Hotlink Prepaid 5G, unmatched 5G network with no lag for MLBB gaming.
Can I just quickly point out that, man, Iris went to a glow up. I looked at it and I was like, wait, is that Iris? Like, you sure that's not, you know,
his younger brother or something?
Yeah.
Look, I have to agree with you. He has lost a considerable amount of weight from when he joined the MPL to what he is now. I don't know whether it's the stress of not winning enough or it's just the life of a pro player, because that seems to be the trajectory of anybody who started off like pretty huge coming into the MPL. 2 seasons down, they've like cut the weight in half.
Hey man, you're true. Look at Yums.
Hey man,
he's eating well. He's eating well.
Like a millionaire. That's the difference.
You're correct.
I guess it depends on what you want to aim for, right? In the end, esports is a sport. You gotta make sure you're in good physical health so that you can always perform at 100%. And other times, you just want to enjoy food. Either way works, but it is an interesting match that we have here. Like you mentioned, we have MAL players, and I'm really excited to see what will happen. But without further ado, Team Vamos and Red Esports shall now be taking the stage for our second match of day 1.
Team Vamos.
For the first time, they step onto the MPL Malaysia stage. A team forged from the legacy of champions. Players who once stood at the pinnacle of MPL MY. With a new logo and a formidable roster, they return as warriors, igniting a new flame. Welcome to the battlefield, Team Vamos!
Red Esports.
After the heartbreak of MPL Season 12 relegation, they were cast out. But their story was far from over as they battled through relentless trials in Season 1 of MAL to claw their way back. They reclaimed their rightful place and stand determined to compete. Red Esports! And of course, we have the coach and analyst of both teams with our head of League Ops, Franklin, to ensure fair play and professional integrity. With fist bumps going between the teams, a sign of professionalism. This is how we roll in Malaysian sportsmanship. And I cannot wait for what is about to happen.
Oh boy, I mean, new bloods up against veterans cannot get any better than this, right? So many matchups to look at. Of course, you have Chibi against Sensui, the highlight of the series, well, of the matchup. But I'm looking at, Warlord into Dinesh, Tashi into Nets, and if Nico into Zorn. Feels like you are facing up against your own idol.
Basically, I do think that, Vamos is going to be looking like the more favored team in this matchup overall. I'm predicting that this is going to be like, a 2-0. But then again, we want to see where our MAL players are going to be at. And let's keep in mind that these MAL players for Red Esports will have to play for the very first week afterwards. Sorry, the very first series. But then afterwards, they can basically slot anybody in there.
There is a rule, a requirement at the very least for the first week of MPL where your starting lineup needs to consist of 60% of the MAL players who fought to make it here. I think that is only fair because they put in the effort to qualify for MPL, so we don't want them swapped out for veterans straight away. We want to give them a chance to prove themselves on this stage.
I mean, it's well-deserved, right? But I think Red Esports fans now can also have that anticipation of, oh, this is not the full power of Red Esports. You got some big names waiting to take center stage once the time comes.
I mean, it's kind of unironic, right? Because let's imagine that Red Esports does a good job and actually smashes Vamos, right? That really makes the question whether these MAL players should be kept around.
Well, besides that, how about Bunny from Team Vamos? We asked them why he moved from RQ Hoshi to MPL MY, and he said that it's because he wasn't in the main squad, and that RQ only wanted to start with Skylar. It was also easy to befriend the players in Vamos, so it seems like it was a very easy decision for him.
I mean, you can't blame him, right? Skylar is one of the main names in RQ overall, just in the entire region. But I would say it is definitely a bit weird, well, a bit of a new breath of fresh air to see Subbat on the bench, right? Meaning there have been people discussing, is it going to be Subbat or Smooth starting for Vamos? I'm happy to see Smooth taking the main 5, at least for the opening series.
Yeah, I think that Smooth generally is going to be a little bit more versatile in these areas. He's more confident to bring out the more high mechanic EXP laners to maybe clutch a situation out for his team in comparison to Subbat, who is reliable and does the job, but you can't expect him to break the ceiling.
Yeah, Smooth was straight up considered by many to be one of the best EXP laners we had here in MPL Malaysia, all the way back to when he was still playing with Team SMG even. So, he's got a lot to prove here as well, considering that many people have pointed out Subbat as a bit of a point of contention as to whether or not he may be fitting in with Homeboys and where they want to go.
I think you feel right at home in the XP lane going up against Iris. It's been an eternal rivalry between these two. But in terms of like local player acquisition, I definitely feel like this is one of the few most anticipated ones.
Anticipated is an interesting way of putting it. I would have anticipated that, you know, Smooth might have joined Homeboys at a certain point until Vamos came out, right? You know?
Yeah.
I think that this team definitely has some potential. I'm curious how far it's going to go or how much they retained from their previous team.
Yeah, while they are mostly the X lineup of Homeboys, there is still notable changes. Zorn and Chibi being the only ones remaining. Snets, of course, joining them as well, but Warlord not being there when they really made it far in the international stage. Then you have Smooth, who while has made it to the internationals before, hasn't had the best results. But on the flip side, Red Esports is still made up of very unproven players, MAL obviously, so Iris and Sensui will really need to be the voices guiding them in the Land of Dawn.
Yeah, and then you couple that up with new faces in the MAL players, and you can only imagine the nerves, right? We've seen glimpses of that last season when Bounty Esports debuted. We had Yan Lord being one of the prime examples, and that could really be exploited by an experienced team like Vamos.
It's true. It's true. I think the dynamic is rather interesting, right? Because in season season 12 and 13, I did mention that maybe we've cracked the code and what types of import players we need to make Malaysians actually do well. Initially, it was like, you know, Indonesians was a great integration into Malaysian culture. Now we've seen with SRG that even with Filipinos taking down more independent roles in the game allows them to actually play better. Now we have Red. Now we're having everybody else kind of follow suit, picking up imports, and honestly, I don't think that it's a matter of which part of Southeast Asia you're from anymore.
I mean, it's good that teams are willing to try, right? We've seen Todak pull that off. It didn't go the way that they wanted. They've been kind of jumping around full local and, you know, imported teams. And SRG, they stuck with it. One of the best examples we have.
And hopefully we get to see more of those examples rise to the occasion, because you guys can hear the crowd. Everyone's excited. We are jumping into the draft phase. Game 1, match number 2, Red Esports having blue side, Vamos on the red.
All right, let's figure this out, because again, I'm seeing another Jawhead ban immediately from the side of Red Esports. And Vamos getting rid of the chip seems atypical, but man, people just do not like Jawhead in week number 1.
It is interesting because I have heard that Jawhead has become a lot more notorious recently, but I'm wondering why exactly he's worth banning so early on throughout today.
Oh, because he absolutely dumpsters assassins. He just walks up to them and fights them like what you're supposed to do. Unless you're playing Hayabusa or Ling where you have iframes to work with, there's no escaping this Jawhead.
Yeah, remember Saber? Yeah, but better.
Yeah, Saber but better.
You know what? You are actually right. That makes a lot of sense when you put it like that. So Red Esports will continue. They get rid of Harif and the Phobius as well. We saw how dangerous the revamped Phobius can be at the start of the day.
Begs the question what Vamos is going to do. I think they're going to open up both assassins, both Hayabusa as well as the Ling. So where do they lean their next ban towards? Is it also going to be towards the gold lane as well? Do they want to? Are they even considering Roger, for an example, as a ban if they want to go in that direction?
I feel like they could, right? On the second pick, there is a chance that if a prior pick like Ling or Fanny, Nolan goes through, you can always take the high loss as a response. The Zaz is also a good priority pick if you know, Vamos wants to consider it.
Ooh, that's a good one too. I think if that is the case, you might as well just ban out the Zask, right? No, they're gonna go for the Hylos instead. All right, still wants to lean into the assassins. I feel like Chibi already has such a very deep assassin pool that it's more so you're trying to corral the rest of the members, lock down more towards the support area where junglers usually need the roamers more often than they do with gold laners.
Yeah, I think it makes sense as well. Since Red banned the Phoveus, they probably don't want to give them an easy first pick Hylos. Then you'll have very few EXP laners that can straight up man fight him, which means that Red Esports will go for that first pick Roger.
Wow.
And then Vamos open up with Ruby and Ling.
I like it. I like it a lot. Great 2 pickups coming in from Vamos' side. Good job on Pobs. Let's come back to Red and let's see what answers that they have in store. Because Roger technically is the prime flex pick of the meta.
Yeah, it is. I mean, now that Harif is out of the picture as well, right? So Roger does feel a lot more desired. At the same time, I'm surprised. A part of me is surprised that Vamos didn't look at the Zaz, because that's what you would lean into with the Hylos ban on Red side. But that's the case. I mean, Red can consider it themselves as well. There's Assassin, there's Ruby on the other side.
Yeah, they can go Zask. Terizla still open. We all remember Iris loves that Terizla.
Arlet as well. I mean, it's a good option for him.
Yeah. Do they actually want to like? Do they want to double flex it on this one? Do they want us to have like Roger and then maybe flex Roam EXP? Yep. Roam EXP, and then they also get the Vixana as well. So I think Vixana in this situation is okay as a blind pick. It has decent wave clear, and at the very least you have more than enough CC to actually handle the Link if Link goes in a very straight line and doesn't bother juking skill shots.
That seems kind of unlikely. It's Chibi as well.
Hey!
The fact that they prioritize Vexana over Zask is also interesting, because Zask just has a built-in get-out-of-jail-free card against heroes like that Ling. So maybe this is just a hero pool kind of situation.
Oh, I suppose?
Vexana is not that bad of an answer, right? Like, you can still crowd control the Nightmare Spawn.
But when you had Zask as an option, wouldn't you prefer that?
Well,
that's what I would think, but
I would imagine that Vexana is supposed to just clear waves and not interact with the Zask and immediately rotate to the opposite side of the map.
I see.
That's my general consensus of why people go Vexana into Zask. Because again, if you play Valentina into Zask, it's the worst matchup in the world. You walk up, you're gonna get Nightmare Spawn, and it's just like, well, I can't do anything anymore.
Fair. They already know that Vamos would definitely pick Zask if they didn't, so maybe it's a preemptive counter.
But true.
In the second ban phase, we see the Lolita and the Cho being removed by the teams respectively.
Take out 2 heroes with 1 ban. No Lolita means Hanabi is not in the conversation anymore. Now the Arlet banned out, which I think is a very good read from Pops, right? You take out the Arlet, it does force this Edith into a less comfortable position. If you say that Vexana wants to just clear wave and move around the map, you want to have a flex pick that can kind of move around, but without the Arlet, it does feel a bit harder.
I don't know. I think this draft is already pretty difficult to deal with, right? In terms of the overall bans. Like, the fact that we're seeing that BAM is deciding to get rid of both Tigreal as well as Cho means that I would imagine that this Edith is going into the roam position, right? If not, why else would you be banning it in the first place? Secondly, when we look at Vamos' side, if now that the Lolita and as well as the Arlon is gone, it really puts a lot of pressure on Red Esports to say, hey, we need laners that are able to clear fast so that we don't have to actually deal with this Ling as often. And now with the Kufra as well, it looks like Vamos is taking the safe route of saying, hey, we don't care about your flex picks, we're still going to play our game.
Oh, it actually solves a lot of problem as well, right? You protect the Link and Ruby, and on top of that, you are also a big enabler while having a means to stop the Roger. I mean, I put in a pretty precarious position. Where does this Roger go?
It can still be flexed into the jungle position if it's not going to be the gold lane pick, and Edith can be flexed as well. So Red still has options of switching their draft around to adjust to what Vamos has thrown at them, but it's going to be difficult to come up with something for now. If they really want to wave clear hard, then Edith probably isn't meant to be the EXP laner, but we will see.
I think that Iris needs to get shafted in this draft right now. He needs to like pick something tanky. Yep, there we go. The Terizla. Oh,
CC gold.
CC gold.
Aww.
Because I was thinking, if the Edith goes into XP lane, you essentially don't get to play much, right?
Yeah, that's why I was thinking that Iris, no matter what, is going to get shafted in this draft, right? Whether he plays Edith or whether Terizla, like, export easily for smooth, like, he gets to pick whatever he wants for the counter matchup on EXP side.
And we know what Smooth can do if he has a winning counter matchup. Still, an EXP laner that is worth fearing here in MPL MY. They go for the Natan. So this is going to be an EXP Ruby in the hands of Smooth. Should do pretty alright against the Terizla, though not a directly winning matchup.
Honestly, I think if they don't have... if they can't crowd control the Natan, it will be a bit of a problem when the game kind of scales, right? Like, very reliant on the Roger to get things going.
Yeah. Again, the spearhead is going to have to be Roger. The rest of the team need to be able to like maintain their lane. So honestly, I have to say good luck as we look at these lineups one more time. Like, good luck to Red Esports because this composition is not easy to pull off. Wow, even taking the Vengeance as well.
Wow.
For Tashi, he knows he's going to get really deep in the mud here.
Well, it's going to be interesting. Red Esports, 60% MAL, along with veterans in Iris and a brand new face to MPLMY, Sensui against Vamos, the ex-Homeboys lineup. Which team will come out on top as we jump into the Land of Dawn once again for Week 1, Day 1 of Season 14?
Feels like the Disciples against the Masters. Red Esports, the identity pretty clear in Game 1. We put our focus on Sensui. He is one of the old guards. He's going to carry them over the finishing line. And of course, you know, ceremonial things. You got to get the pause going and get everyone riled up.
Yeah.
That's my favorite part of the series.
It's classic. I'm just staring at the audience. You can see how many people are like, no!
I mean, you don't even have to look. You could hear it.
They'll change their minds pretty soon when we resume the game.
True, true. We do have a certain pause meta here in MPLMY. Don't know if it's gonna continue. I've heard that certain people are no longer around here, but who knows?
Yeah, I mean, it's a Type 1 pause, and the new kids on the block making issues. Come on, Dinesh, come on.
Hey, look, he's like, I gotta perform. I need to hear my team, okay? We better get this audio issue fixed.
That's why we have our marshals in place. That's why we have people there to make sure that the players are able to operate at maximum capacity and that professional integrity is maintained, because no one wants to be put in a position where their tools are to blame for a loss.
Yeah, it's the biggest feels bad that you can get. But in the meantime, at the very least, we got the first pause of the season out of the way.
Well, yeah. I was wondering when this would happen.
Yeah.
I thought it would be
totally a milestone we were all waiting for.
At least we know it happens later.
Who knows? Who knows? It might do some good for our PCU with goals.
Oh, just you wait, just you wait.
I can't wait to show it. They show the graphic with the bar, and it's just like, the first pause was here.
Do the statistic of how much PCU that we get
from
the pause.
Mali.
Oh, hey, it is Mali.
Yeah, Mali's in the crowd watching. We know that he is part of MAL this season. Bit sad not to see him grace the MPL stage, but maybe we'll see him again one day.
Man, he was killing it. I think he's playing with Kelantan in the MAL.
I believe so.
Absolutely smashing it. They unfortunately lost their later series 0-2, but I don't remember against who. But yeah, I mean, Mali's having a good time.
Yeah, I mean, it's the very first week of the MAL, right?
Yeah.
Correct? It was all happening at the same time? Yeah.
Weekdays, MAL, weekends, MPL. Can never get enough of the action.
Yeah, never gonna miss a moment here. 45 more seconds left, and it looks like they are settling the issues pretty quickly here. Thank you to our marshals.
Looks like the players should be able to jump in very, very soon. And before the game really gets going, I gotta ask Gideon, what are your thoughts on Sensui?
On Sensui, during his time during Blacklist International, there's definitely moments where, honestly, he shouldn't have gotten away with a couple of his steals. But it's hard to put judgment on him because I'm not hearing comms. I don't know what it's like, what he's providing exactly, who's making the final call at the end of the day. But based off of what I've seen so far, mechanically, I think he's fine. I think more so is what kind of an identity does he want to have playing an assassin?
I think at the end of the day, it's also kind of a rebuilding of what full Sensui truly is, right? There has been moments where you kind of see him fade out of the limelight. This is a good restart, I'd say, but again, a lot of responsibility. My favorite part, new phase, but you know, the fact is
same response.
Same response, man. We gotta love our ladies back into the game. Red against Vamos. And just as expected, we got Dinesh being able to take priority in moving.
The pause meta in MPLMY still is something else.
Can't wait to get a new IG follow.
We make superstars here at MPL. Anyways, as the games are going to continue, I would imagine that Team Vamos is probably going to play closer towards Nets' side of the map, because if they're able to beat Tashi, or at the very least allow Nets an easier time in lane, I think this game is almost pretty much done for, right? Because nobody scales as hard other than Sensui, but this is on the capabilities of whether Sensui can hard carry this game. If worst comes to worst, Vamos has like a 6k gold lead.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. When you go for a count like this, double fighter side lane, you are basically giving up a late game potential.
So I assume it was an accident and he missed out a big beetle.
That's a bit strange.
I would say that he moves way faster than the Roger overall, but
maybe too fast.
I don't know how to feel about that one, but hey, I like the fact that he decided to take Warcry. I can appreciate that. I can appreciate the very least. Even Sensui decided to go for Warcry as well. Both opted to go with one of my favorite emblems here. So far, so good. Hasn't been much action on the map just yet. Most it's just been battle spells. But I think once level 4 starts coming around, that's where the real blood is going to start shedding.
Yeah, we can already see Warlord come down to help shove the lane with Smooth, getting level 4 early, unlocking themselves from the lane before Iris to maybe get started on the turtle.
There's a potential catch. Let's move on a knockout. Zorn to the back. Terrify. What a penalty zone from Iris. Get the Tempest Ablaze out of Chibi, but still first blood goes over to him. And now Iris is going to get pulled back. Revenge for Smooth. Double kill for Chibi.
Good fingers from Chibi. Real fast there. Real fast. Gave no opportunity. Goes again.
Oh, the Terrify.
He did the Terrify, but still gets the ultimate out. 3 in a row for Chibi.
Woo! Oh, unfortunate for Red Esports. Iris landed such a beautiful penalty zone, but there just wasn't enough damage to finish off the members of Vamos. And with that, they get the turtle, they get 3 kills, and immediately momentum in this game.
Honestly, I think Red Esports should have dragged that out rather than try and 50-50 it and getting Chibi 3 kills, right? He could have been 2 kills down and maybe a turtle up, and Sensui probably could drag this out a little bit longer, which isn't too bad. But I think that Red Esports, they gotta calm down here. They don't have that foresight that Team Vamos had. Like, clearly Chibi, he could have walked away if he thought that there was no way of actually securing this turtle, but he was very confident with Zorn going in, and by the time that fear comes out, it's basically done for.
It's pretty crazy, right? I think they lost track of Zorn, but now they find him once more, try and finish him, root him in place. Zorn, surely he has to translate, but Zorn still gets out. And now Chibi, he's going to be able to join the fight. Nico has no ultimate. Chibi, an attempt to take his life, doesn't find it.
Chibi making the smarter option, realizing when he doesn't have a lot of energy to work with, and especially when you don't have a lot of energy, you don't have a lot of crit on top of no energy to cast your ability. So, small decisions like this is what's going to keep Team Vamos ahead rather than making rash decisions.
Yeah, I like the aggression from Red, but they're not finding the right target. Not enough damage. Tashi?
Wow.
He doesn't mind. Trades an ult for vengeance there.
Well, if you're Ness, you're pretty happy with that, right?
Well, I don't know about happy, but at least you're hard shoving the lane, right? The question is, what is he doing with this influence? He's forcing an early recall. If he does, then sure, then I think it is worth losing your vengeance over. If not, where else are you getting income across the map?
I do wonder if he could have tried taking the trade a little late. Hold on, though.
Yeah, clips onto Dinish. That's a flicker. Good Terrify. Follow up, but the timing just a bit off and allows Chibi to go into the air and come right down as 4 for this link.
Dang, that crowd roar off of Chibi's play. That was loud. I cannot imagine when Team Vamos wins what this crowd is going to sound like.
Well, a lot of them have had fans for a long time. Zorn?
Another catch, this time onto Nico. I mean, Zorn is a menace. Penalty zone from Iris. This one is good. And Zorn finally goes down. Good pull from Smooth, but into his own death. Chibi not able to rejoin the fight this time. Red Esports looking to take Turtle, and Chibi will not get the steal up. Some retaliation from Red.
Yep, good burst down coming in from Red's side. Chibi doesn't mind this. I don't think that Tashi ever kills him.
No, I don't think so. Tashi might die unless Iris gets it done. What a hop away.
Vengeance saves lives.
Woo! Yeah, it really did. Chibi almost killed himself on the Vengeance as well. It's a good thing he realized he needed to back off there. But Red Esports able to even up the net worth a little bit there from Vamos, being slightly over-aggressive. This time the penalty zone from Iris was able to be followed up, and we can really see the impacts of that. 6 minutes in, only 1k for Vamos. Not too bad for Red.
Yeah, right now Team Vamos, I did see a Thunderbelt purchase for Zorn. It's pretty atypical nowadays for Thunderbelt to be purchased on roamers, but it does force a certain playstyle on you, because you need to get stacks, right? So I would only imagine that Zorn is going to get even more aggressive, not like he already wasn't.
He's is one of his premier heroes, right? Like people look at Zorn Cho, but back in the days, 2 seasons ago in fact, that Kufra has been a menace. It's so easy to proc Thunderbelt as well with that extra range attack, but oh boy, GB has to be careful. He is ahead of Sensui, but doesn't mean this Roger doesn't hurt.
Well, actually, how much ahead is he? Not much. It's only by like 700. I thought it was going to be way more with the 4 kills, but the EXP says otherwise.
Tashi is moved with the grab. Let's pull back. Tashi gets out. Flicker forward. Nico, that's the catch of Shatter. And good catch from Zorn again. Penalty zone from Iris in the back. It'll be 2 for Vamos. And Red Esports only walks away with Smooth. Spirit want to continue this though. Zorn is low but gets out. Iris now in the wheeze. And Danish cannot join the fight thanks to the Nightmare respawn. So Iris will have to be sacrificed. Team Vamos finding 3.
Good zone from Warlord. That Nightmare spawn actually making quite a big difference here for not only just the members of Team Vamos, but actually setting up an anchor point of which Vamos can play around.
Yeah, it was a good counter engage actually from Red. They could have potentially found another 1 or 2 kills if not for that Nightmare spawn blocking the way, not allowing Sensui to re-engage, and thus dropping a lot of damage from Red.
Oh wait.
Yeah, misses the dash, and now he's gonna get pulled back. Crowd control for days on end, but saved by Danish again. Temporarily though, as the Nightmare spawn cleans it. Not Tashi now, out of the fight, Sensui leaps in, couldn't find the pickup. And Tashi, second one to be given away. Vamos having the lead. This should be the turtle.
No. They shouldn't be coming in these types of angles here. Red Esports are playing a deathball composition. The only way to make these deathball compositions work in the meta like now is if you engage together. You can't have 2 people doing 2 separate things at once, especially when you don't have the lead on your side. The overall gold is still with Team Vamos with a 4.1k lead over Red Esports at this point in time.
Yeah, we can see a disconnect. The Red Esports not the most synced up. After Nico missed the engage, they needed to make a decision. And it seemed like Tashi wanted to go for the backline, which is what he should be doing. But the rest of Red was not in position to follow it up, thereby giving Vamos a 2nd kill on top of things, and probably a Lord as well.
The job of Sensui infinitely harder because of that. Vamos up to almost a 5k goal advantage. He's gonna hit that mark in a little bit, but with all tier 1 turrets down, and Chibi with a 6-0 and 3 KD and a newly purchased Thunderbelt, this is only gonna get tougher.
Yep. Let's see how much gold that they're actually able to make here. Because Team Vamos, if they break open at least 1 inhibitor, it's going to be such a big advantage. When we look at the individual gold leagues, we see that Nets is actually quite far ahead. And honestly, catching up to GB despite the difference in KDA.
I mean, Nets has just been left alone to do whatever he wants for quite a long time, and that's usually where Nets is most comfortable. He's a very farm-oriented gold laner as compared to some of the more aggressive players we've seen in this position. So, give him space, man's gonna be a millionaire before you know it.
Sensui does need slightly more time working towards the Sky Piercer. That could be a game changer, right? Those executes with the Lycan Pounce. Question is, once he gets to that point, can they pull it off though? Vamos having the Lord crashing in on the bottom side.
I mean, they've staggered the waste. They've sacrificed all their outer tier turrets. Hopefully this inhibitor is still going to stand.
Well, finds the pull onto Iris, and that's Primal Wrath already out from Nico. It's all about defending the base, and Red Esports completed phase 1. No inhibitors are down. And Team Vamos wants to go for the engage. Zorn as the slam, and Iris counter engages, but still they lose Nico. Zorn as an exchange, Chibi dashes in, goes for more Iris, almost beamed down by Warlord. Vamos still walks away with 2.
You can see the difference in experience and overall skill here. The MAL players having a bit of difficulty keeping up with Team Vamos. The way that fight was split was excellent. We could see the instant disengage once the Primal Wrath was used, once the Vexana ult was used as well. Vamos just waiting for Red Esports to throw their resources too early and then jumping in afterwards.
They gotta find an angle here. The only way is if Team Vamos walks out a little too far, or if Red Esports is given the space. And I think that at this point in time, Red Esports, there's no point walking up. There's just literally nothing to fight over for the next 46 seconds. And I think that Team Vamos eventually will have to do something.
I mean, you gotta give credits to Iris, right? He has been finding some good counter engages, but team not surviving long enough to follow up on it. Now they will lose that bottom inhibitor, courtesy of Nets. Team Vamos, 30 seconds until the next Lord spawns.
Red Esports in a position where it doesn't really look like they can do anything. The siege potential from Vamos is strong and they're not really even doing anything outside of plopping down some of the spawns in base from time to time. 8k goal lead, 11 minutes in, quite a lead. Usually not one that you can overcome without a massive play.
Might have to come from Iris, right? Or just Nico getting some godlike pick-off.
Well, it's fine whether or not they're going to get that pick-off, right? I mean, they finally opened up that inhibitor we were talking about, and I think that even for Team Vamos, they recognize that the only way that they lose this is if Red Esports somehow find a great engagement during the time of which they take the Lord. At this point, Nets should be strong enough to, like, solo the Lord, right?
I do think so. Oh?
An attempt onto Zorn, but again, I mean, that combo was so... It's easier to dodge, and Nico is going to lose his life because of that. I mean, ideally, you want to be Earth Shatter, and then you prime a Flicker to follow.
Nico is playing way too telegraphed. You can really see it. He flickers in, onward, Earth Shatter, instantly pop Primal Wrath without really even thinking about what happens next. That this was after Zorn had already flickered away. So, like, the fact that he's getting taken out every single time he engages is leaving Red Esports in a numerical disadvantage every single fight.
It does make life tough. I mean, in Nico's spot, you essentially have exhausted whatever kind of advantage you have, I suppose. And without the flicker for another minute plus as well.
Yeah, it's a pretty rough situation to be in. I mean, there's a lot of things, right? Red Esports, the fact that they lost like their bottom inhibitor basically for free, even after dealing with the Lord Empowered minions, probably was a bigger blunder on Red Esports' side. But here we go, right? Lord going to be coming down from the bottom side. Let's quickly look at the items so far. 2 complete for Tashi. Everybody else roughly around 2. Oh, wow. Huh. Decided to go for the Magic Lantern. Interesting.
Huh.
Time offender onto Iris. Wow, Nico actually is the first one to go down. Knock back, attempted. Zorn doesn't get it off yet, but Iris will flicker to safety. Sensui has to do everything on his own, but Winds of Nature on Nets ensures his survival. Team Vamos easily steamrolls to Red Esports for game number 1.
Not even a problem. The difference in experience rearing its ugly head right now as Team Vamos dispatches Red Esports without much problem at all.
I think right now they're just looking like a more polished team, and I think the foresight definitely helps Vamos a lot. You can see that Red Esports, they're hungry to try and prove something, and that's why they're taking the initiative. And Vamos, they're just taking one step back, waiting, be patient, and we can instantly punish you.
Now the color might be new, right? But at the end of the day, in essence, 4 of them actually, well, 3 of them won a trophy before.
And that speaks volumes here. Homeboys understands who they're up against, and they're also making sure to have a good time while doing so. You can really see the essence of all of the players' personalities coming out to play here. And they know that it's not really that big of a challenge. Red Esports didn't do too badly in the first couple of moments, but outside of maybe one fight, you could see Vamos just being in control throughout the game.
I think that coming into game number 2, I'm hoping at the very least that Red Esports decides to not go for a death ball strategy, to go with a double fighter lane and go for something a little bit more traditional, right? Because it feels like Tashi has a good sense of like how to actually deal with the lane. The question is, can he only play the lane if it's a winning matchup?
Yeah, I think I agree. I feel like from what I've seen in MAL, and if I compare him to playing a CC gold lane and a traditional gold laner, I would much prefer the latter. I think on a traditional gold laner, he has much more to give. You get to contribute in your own way, right? It's not like you collapse if your jungler doesn't get off to a good start. And in this case, I feel like he's just put in a more awkward position.
Yeah, I think when Red Esports saw Vamos prioritize the Ling, they shifted gears to try and cheese it out by going for the Death Ball strat, which is known to be stronger in the earlier stages. But it's also a two-pronged strategy, because if you're not able to get that early game lead, you just completely give up any chance of winning due to the fact that the enemy team will always have better scaling than you.
I think it's just a very tough spot to be in, considering how far ahead Chibi is, and then you still have Smooth to contend with, right? You can see Iris, he is literally getting all these counter engages in whenever Team Vamos forces to fight, but his team just does not have the resources to follow up, and it really stings when you are in Iris's position.
It does. It really, really does. That's why these deathball compositions is very much, is your chemistry and coordination good? Let's give it up for our MVP from Team Vamos. No surprises here at the age of 21. It's GB.
GB on the Ling has always been a tale as old as time, a pair made in heaven. And you can see that his skills haven't deteriorated too much ever since the last tournament. Still very comfortable on this hero, able to farm quickly, able to get kills. Very clean with the Tempest of Blades, picking up all the swords as well. It is like art.
Yeah, I mean, he did, well, I think there's a video or something, but he did get into practicing a lot more assassins, right? I think Hayabusa was also one of the few on the list, a hero that he doesn't play as much, so I think the meta really forced him to adapt, and he's doing pretty well. Although I would say, though, I wonder what Smooth feels playing with a team that literally took the trophy away from them 2 seasons ago.
It's water under the bridge, right?
I'm pretty sure it is.
I mean, assuming that they win the upcoming championship.
You guys took my trophy, we'd better win one for me now, right?
He's the only one who's missing out on it. He's the only one with the blank card.
And he definitely deserves that. Looking at Chibi, a 94% kill participation and 942 GPM. Very high numbers overall considering the meta nowadays, showing that he was in his comfort zone for the majority of the game.
Very much in his comfort zone. Man, his GPM is still ridiculous every single time I see it. But I like the fact that instead of Endless Battle, he opted to go for the Thunderbelt, right? The extra health, the extra stats, and more importantly, the fact that he is so far ahead. He got this as a third item. He did not rush it as a first item. Third item and then start stacking it from that point onwards.
It's making sure that you can kind of survive until the end, right? You have some infinite scaling potential. You're already more than capable enough of handling your own. Now it's just to benefit your team in the long run.
Yeah, the behavior of the item means that if you don't get it as a first item, it usually loses a lot of its effectiveness. But when you're this far ahead, that you're comfortable going for that as a third item and it works out, you can see the gap that had formed between Vamos and Red Esports, as we can see here in the post-game statistics.
Honestly, just now we almost saw Chibi kind of take himself out thanks to hitting that vengeance. But I feel like I found the real reason that they could not take Chibi down.
Why?
Okay.
Are you ready?
All right.
No blade armor on Red.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
It all makes sense now. Dude, are you a tank main? That's crazy.
Yeah, I think so too. I myself find it crazy.
That's wild, dude.
As Yums once said, Thunderbelt.
Thunderbelt's pretty good.
In quotations, Thunderbelt. But yes, this has considerably short game overall, 13 minutes and 19 seconds. I definitely think that Red was on the cusp of maybe turning it around, because once they get the third items for a Deathball comp, that's pretty much as close to the cap that you can get. Everything else that you get on top of that is a very slight increase, a slight increment of power from that point onwards. But for the 16 score, you just can't keep up with the guy.
Yeah. And I think also the order of itemization also kind of affects how the deathball comp of Red Esports, right?
Yes.
We've seen examples. I believe it was Benny QT when he played the gold lane Roger. He takes Warcry, first item instantly into a Sky Piercer, right? And then you just roll from there. But in this case, it was the third item from Sensui. At that point, it was too late, right? You are already 8k behind.
Well, here's the thing. I think that Sensui was doing the right thing in this case, because again, when you are playing in the gold lane, you're looking to bully your opponent as the Roger. Here, it's different. You're looking to scale as quickly as possible, twice as fast as your opponent, but you're not out farming the Ling. And when you get into a 1v1 with the Ling, it's very dependent on who makes that first move. Like, who takes the most damage within a 0.5 of a second.
Yeah, that's another problem with this double fighter side lane type of composition, right? It means that your jungle is basically the hyper carry. They have to farm, they have to get items, they have to build the most scaling build they can possibly go for, which is why Sensui went for the Windtalker build instead of the build that would allow him to fight earlier, right? Because he knows he needs to scale into the late game to at least match up against Nets and Chibi. So if you're not able to get any sort of early lead, this entire composition just falls apart.
Yep. That's why it makes sense. I mean, if Sensui had that endless battle towards the end, well, good number of kills that he probably could have secured rather than just like keeping them at 1% with or without the Sky Piercer.
Yeah, he did miss out a few, even in the early game, right? Like, a lot of close calls, but just, no cigar at the end. The key players, it's just all Team Vamos. Kind of what we expected.
I mean, we know Roger is a good finisher. He's a hero that can chain kills very well, especially with something like a Sky Piercer, but it requires the rest of the team to help in whittling down HP. That's why you see Vamos just taking all of the notable players. You see Vamos taking control of the gold graph, though it was actually pretty even up until that 6-minute point. So Red Esports can at least take solace in that.
Yeah, a lot of it just... Man, it's just that the rest of the team did not have a big injection of gold. They weren't able to create advantages on their own side lanes individually, which is technically hard to do when you are playing a double fighter lane. But hey, that's just what's the requirement of the comp. Whenever you do get a first push on your opponent as a death ball, you're immediately walking away from your lane. You're looking at, are there extra camps I can steal? Where exactly is the enemy jungle? And if I don't know where it is, I'll just walk into the jungle and find out.
It's also how you recover from a deficit, right? Something that I think Red Esports did make a couple of attempts to do. You can see the intention. Just unfortunately, it was not pulled off the way that we wanted it to, right? We see some disconnects, a bit of a, scattered engage, scattered fights here and there. And it's easy to point out, I think the weakest link, Nico, did need some adjustments going into game 2. But aside from that, we go back to the basics, right? Just don't play double fighter comps.
I agree.
I think that, oh man, I do feel that Nico, unfortunately, needs to learn at this new environment that they're in. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah, for now, we have an offstage segment as per usual with our wonderful host, Rose. So Rose, go ahead and take it away.
Hai guys, selamat kembali ke MPL Offstage yang dibawa oleh Hotlink. Dan sekarang ni kita ada legenda sebelah Rose, iaitu Solos, or otherwise known now as the owner of Team Vamos. First of all, hi Solos, long time no see, how are you?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, sehat. Okay, that's nice. So, Solos, kita ni tak suka goreng-goreng lah. Nak tanya terus, apa yang membuat Solos buat tim sendiri musim ini? Adakah sebab M6 dekat Malaysia ataupun nampak MSC Malaysia yang menang ada inspired sikit? Cuba cerita.
Okay, apa yang nak buat tim saya pun tak tahu lah. Cuma peluang tu ada, so saya ambil peluang tu dalam masa sama. MC pun ada kan, jadi why not kita cuba. So pada saya, untuk permulaan ni tak ada nak expect tinggi pun untuk tim, cuma harap diorang boleh buat yang terbaik, stay dekat playoff pun dah okey dah tu.
Orang boleh tak ini? Stay di playoff pun dah okey lah. So you dah mention ini adalah musim pertama Team Vamos in MPL. Tapi kan, apa yang akan jadi kalau let's say Vamos dapat satu slot ke M6?
Kalau dapat rezeki, cuma saya beritahu dekat pemain, saya tak nak letakkan orang terlampau tinggi pressure kat orang. So pada saya, sebab ni pun tim baru, so saya tak minta banyak pun, just stay dekat playoff. Tapi kalau dapat pergi ke MC, bonus lah, rezeki lah.
Alright, we like that. Tak payah terlalu pressure dekat players. Okay, Solos, apa yang Solos nak sampaikan dekat fans, dekat players atas pentas tu? Cuba bagi sikit. Hari ni hari pertama.
Okay, so untuk player macam biasa buat terbaik. So untuk kepada yang datang hari ni, terima kasih sangat-sangat. So tak kisah daripada penyokong tim Vamos ataupun tim Esports, sokonglah tim mana yang korang suka buat yang terbaik. Macam biasalah, kalau dalam permainan ni ada kalah menang, jadi mana yang kalah tu kita support dia, mana yang menang tu kita tak tahu je.
Alright guys, you guys heard it from the legenda himself, Solos. Terima kasih kepada Solos. Good luck on your next game. And with that, mari let's show it back to the panelists untuk start game kedua dalam Best of 3 series ni.
We have a legend in the building indeed. For those of you who didn't know, Solos was the owner of Team Vamos. Where have you been? And yeah, that's the case. It definitely is interesting to see a legend like him creating his own team, bringing players in, and seeing how far they can go.
I mean, it's a shocker, the fact that he's in the front row. The man is a legend for a reason. Every moment he is not streaming, he's technically losing money.
Yeah, people know him as the owner of Vamos. I know him as the first ever guy to buy a supercar in slippers.
Yes!
With cold hard cash.
I remember that.
Made national news.
Oh, the classics. Always got to bring back the classics.
You are not a legend by doing things normally, right?
It's true. It's true.
This play, I mean, early on, let's walk through the game one by one again. This moment, again, this actually should have been a Dewa win. Had Ray actually went in and capitalized on that internal guard, with Chorizo still jumping in, if they comboed their damage together, RQ would have been able to get this 1,000 gold lead at the start of the game. But even then, good job on Ray, still able to actually, equalize a bit here with the quad channel, taking Sutsujin out.
Dia bisa ngasih trade yang lumayan imbang. Dia tetap datangin ke arah Suzuki-nya juga. Tapi di momen team fight di mid yang ke-6, ini masih dipegang sama RRQ banget.
Masih. Ini sampai menit ke-8 apa ya tadi ya. Itu benchmark kita juga. Tapi sebenarnya udah mulai kelihatan ada potensi kalau dari Dewa ini bisa menang ya. Karena banyaknya waktu yang bisa dibeli juga dengan Dewa sendiri. Jadi kelihatan karena dua-dua terus setelah masih bawa karena hasilnya maksimal dan jangan lupa ada satu lord juga kita curi tadi. Dapat tim dengan Ray berkat channel dulu dan distribution.
Gitu ya. Pada jam 12, kalian tadi di power team fight-nya, menurut aku ini kebantu sama itemnya juga sih Om. Kayak The Limit, Vision Lantern, itu udah langsung nutup potensial orang yang tebel-tebel banget dari Alchemy.
Ini kita akan lihat lagi sini kan. Yang akan bertarung sama apa kalau udah secara itu. Itulah perannya Ki sama Awat. Poking tipis-tipis saja. Karena pattern yang dilakukan Rinci dari tadi masuknya ke arah Thailand. Suzuki dilepaskan.
Riz juga tidak terlambat ya, dia masih pengen coba untuk yaudah switch dulu mau biar lihat lane. Tapi ternyata gak sekuat itu untuk bisa menghadapi Riz yang udah sebanyak ini. Karena udah seimbang posisinya.
Dua dapat healer juga ya.
Kalau misalnya masih gak terlalu seimbang,
gak usah dengar kata orang. Gak usah dengar kata orang kalau Awat memang udah gak bisa bersinar. Gak usah dengar kata orang Awat udah gak bisa naik daun. Tapi ternyata Awat membuktikan super Awat Supriyadi, nama super yang dilekatkan bukan karena dirinya sendiri tapi karena orang lain.
Ya, udah jadi anak dewa. 17 dari 14 di eliminasi, objektif terakhir udah mulai menimbulkan ketika masuk ke di atas 12 ketika masuk ke arah reloadnya juga ya.
Lumayan ya kali ya. Buat dari Dewa juga mereka lumayan tertindas loh di game. Tapi hanya ada 2 turtle ternyata yang didapatkan oleh masing-masing tim ini atau bisa spawn di game tadi dan jatuh ke Alkihoshi. Dari emblem setnya ini safety banget buat Dewa yang mereka main di belakang kayak Ray cuma terpitok sekali. Kuat cuma terpitok 2 kali karena tanpa single target lock. Ini membuat Alkihoshi memang susah buat tim fight. Mereka bisa menang dulu. Mid lane ini nggak ada yang bisa nangkap kalau jadi Dewa United.
Dan sekali juga sih Om, ini menarik banget gitu kan, 2 Purify, 2 Rebel Life. Jadi apapun yang pengen coba untuk dibuka bisa tutup dengan Purify dan bisa di hold bersama lain dengan Rebel.
Dan tadi kalau kita lihat yang terakhir, mereka nggak pulang. Mereka baru jalan di tengah, nge-heal-nya pakai Revelas.
Bisa dimanfaatin di situ ya?
Bisa.
Oh, dan dia terus juga 15 gold ada sekolah dengan 795 KPM. Tapi ngomongin damage deal, ini ternyata memang harus jatuh ke tangan Saranki.
Ya karena Kiss yang ngebuka seluruh pokingan yang tadi kita sempat bahas. Memang dia tidak dapat poin kill pasti ya, cuma meledak damage dari Texana, Terrify-nya belum, Eternal Guard-nya belum, semuanya sedikit demi sedikit itu lama-lama menjadi bukit. Tapi bisa di menit ke-8 ya.
Oh iya.
Jadi di menit ke-8 udah mulai langsung ke atas dan akhirnya Dewa mereka unggul sedikit juga. Tapi kalau kita bicara soal draftnya juga dari munculnya Angelina ini sebenarnya cukup mengagetkan juga sih. Karena ada hero dari Rings kan yang masih tersedia kan. ada orang-orang yang bisa menghentikan laju lompatan dari Povius misalnya.
Benar-benar. Jadi memang banyak banget yang akhirnya bisa nangkep satu Poviusnya, tapi ya pada akhirnya ketika kita ngomongin team fight 5 lawan 5, ini jadi beda cerita apalagi di arah late game. Dan ini yang harus mulai direvisi lagi, diperbaiki lagi oleh pemain Anarkio Hoshi. Mungkin tidak terlalu buru-buru bisa menjadi jawaban.
Tidak terlalu terburu-buru, fokus, targeting, sabar yang biasa kita lihat di dalam kubu Anarkio Hoshi malah kita nggak lihat. Malah kita nggak lihat itu. Kita ngeliat Anarkio yang menggebu-gebu untuk mendapatkan kemenangan game pertama karena owning mereka 8.000. Apakah ini semua menjadi salah satu trigger untuk berebut dan buru-buru mendapatkan hak champion? Tapi karena mereka berebut seperti itu, kayaknya mereka sudah mendapatkan. Mending kalian semua ini fokus untuk berebut juga. Dapatin Samsung Series A Gaming Pack.
Oh, kalau ini emang harus berebut sih, karena siapa ya yang gak mau Samsung Series A Gaming Package kan bisa dapetin pack yang baru dari Galaxy A Series 5G, Galaxy A55 5G, Limited Awesome Gaming Package. Kalian bisa dapetin 3 skin, ada Diamond juga, ada Gaming Headphone juga, ada Triple Adapter juga. Banyak ya? Bahkan itu masih belum selesai. Ada silicone case, ada sticker pack juga. Jadi memang semua hadiah ini dengan total value more than 1,4 juta ya, lebih dari 1,4 juta ini bisa kalian dapetin.
Ini lihat, dan ini berbagai macam warna yang ada. Ada awesome lemon color dan navy color. Ya, buat kalian semua. Nih, ini warna lemon. Lemon color. Warna lemon color. Ada navy color juga. Mana navy-nya? Itu navy. Itu navy. Ya, navy-nya. Sabar dong, kita kan ada lemon dulu di sini.
Kan ada yang main, jadi lemon color dulu. Langsung aja meluncur ke samsung.com/id dan toko Samsung terdekat, get awesome gaming experience with Galaxy A55 5G.
Betul, biar kalian lihat para Sigma baru nih. Awesome gaming experience yang pokoknya kalian semua bisa dapatkan hanya di Samsung Galaxy A55 5G.
Ya, cocok banget apalagi kalau kayak Om Gen Alpha kan series A ya. Series A buat Gen Alpha kayak
oh iya benar juga ya. Tapi ya tentunya ya, selain ada Samsung Galaxy, gue tuh paling suka. Wah iya, suka nih. Bentar,
pas banget lagi.
Waduh, berkilau, cerah, wangi, lemonnya sampai sini. Waduh. Ini dia, Head and Shoulders. Hair by Head and Shoulders, kalian semua pada hilang di telan milah pokoknya kalau ini mah buset.
Yang mau Head and Shoulders ya.
Head and Shoulders. Dan ini juga. I love Samsung, buset.
Ya ini ada Galaxy Zone juga nih, teman-teman yang bawa Samsung bisa duduk di paling depan.
Iya bisa duduk di paling depan, bisa langsung ketemu biasanya kiri kanannya sama BA. Di depan itu langsung pro player idolanya. Aduh, udah deh susah. Udah deh susah untuk mendapatkan tempat duduk itu kalau kita ngomongin Samsung udah nggak bisa.
Tapi ini bisa nggak nih buat orang tidak dapetin kemenangan?
Sebenarnya kalau ngomongin dari based on data, masih bisa comeback, bounce back. Karena namanya kalah di game pertama masih ada game kedua.
Betul, penyesuaian ya game satu ya.
Ya, tapi tentunya seperti biasa kalau setelah ada kekalahan kita memiliki sebuah topik yang kita bicarakan oleh netizen dan penonton setia kita di dalam kolom komentar. Mana topiknya? Pak Profesor, itu dia. Audience Topic Voting. 1 poin menuju half season champion. Bagaimanakah Anarkio bisa menang di game kedua? Survei membuktikan. Meminimalisir kesalahan, apakah Om Wawa setuju?
Setuju sih, tapi kesalahan jenis apa dulu nih yang harus diminimalkan?
Oke, menurut Om Wawa?
Overextend jelas yang pertama. Overextend. Terus yang kedua mungkin apa ya? Lebih sabar aja sih, jangan terlalu buru-buru buat naiknya. Karena tadi masih di bawah menit 10 loh. Masih bisa lebih pelan dulu, dikit temponya sambil ambil objektif yang lain. Karena ada waktu gak dapat.
Oke, kalau gitu menurut Om Wawa setuju? Kita ke Nemin.
Setuju juga.
Gimana? Kenapa setuju?
Aku minimalisir kesalahan yang dari tadi aku yang notice adalah mereka terlalu cepat gitu ketika login baru datang atau memang kadang ada terlambatnya juga sebenarnya. Jadi ya mistake yang harus mereka perbaiki. Tapi aku setuju juga dengan kedua. Rins harus pakai hero yang lebih apa ya, damage, agresif. Karena tadi lumayan ya agak slow ya temponya, jadinya ketika melihat Prince pakai Angela.
Oke, tapi lihat kekalahan tadi membuat tim RRQ turun seketika di 75%. Yep, tapi aku setuju yang pertama meminimalisir kesalahan. Karena Prince tadi nggak salah juga pakai Angela menurut aku.
Betul.
Masih oke dalam komposisi seperti tadi. Tapi memang survei terhadap seluruh viewers Mobile Legends Indonesia, terima kasih banyak atas voting kalian yang membuktikan surveinya terhadap meminimalisir kesalahan adalah menjadi satu poin termahal atas kayak epic comeback dari Dewa United. Nah tentunya anak Dewa di sini langsung berteriak sumringah karena tidak bisa dipungkiri 8.000 gol.
Ya apalagi apalagi Dewa kan lagi butuh poin match juga kan. Lalu kalau mereka bisa dapat matchnya, apalagi lawan Argoshi, puncak klasemen di second leg, mereka akan jauh lebih enak nanti. Kayak jaminan gitu loh. Gimana menurut kamu?
Menurut aku ini nggak
Dia ketawa mulu.
kasih kita mic tapi kebalik lah coba.
Bolak. Ini adalah mic penagih utang.
Pelunas utang.
Penagih. Baru dia nih, baru nih masuk sini.
Oke, tapi kalau
di segmen terbaru.
balik lagi ya, ngomongin dari Dewa United nih, akhirnya mereka dengan posisi ke-7, mereka dapetin poin dari tim yang ada di posisi yang pertama. Itu udah jadi plus poin banget.
Itu amunisi tuh sebenarnya ya. Kalau secara statistiknya udah enak gitu loh.
Mereka udah langsung menutup lah apa itu statistik.
Iya.
Statistik. Saya paling nggak suka statistik.
Itu mata pelajaran statistika.
Oh beda ya?
Beda. Ini statistik.
Apa bedanya mas?
Statistika.
Ya sama kan?
Statistika. Beda dong.
Dia yang ngomong, dia yang berdebat, dia yang salah juga.
Agak aneh jatuhnya ya. Tapi beda, itu beda. Tapi memang kalau kita ngomongin dari segi statistiknya, ini bakal dibuktikan lagi di game yang kedua. Apakah memang game pertama tadi hanya sebuah anomaly saja dari RRQ Hoshi?
Waduh, ingat ya.
Atau
Ingat ya, RRQ dipilih oleh 6 caster yang bertugas. Dan gua harap banget nih ya, Dewa nampar caster ini sih.
Kalau nggak salah sih minggu kemarin kita kan berenam nih.
Iya kan, kita semua. Karena kalau kita sebagai prediction itu as a data. As a data yang berbicara di atas panggung. Tapi kali ini faktor di dalam game juga ternyata membuktikan di mana konsistensi dari tim RRQ mereka menutup arah sosok dari Nylos dan juga Hayat Hujet yang ditutup oleh para pemain dari tim RRQ. Cuma yang kita pertanyakan adalah kali ini RRQ mereka dengan sangat cepat mengambil sukses untuk perspektif ini.
Ada link.
Wow.
Ada link bisa incer belakang Cusin. Gak bakal aman kalau memang ada linknya.
Ya enak sih sekarang. Kenapa nggak mereka balik lagi aja linknya jelas?
Linknya jelas.
We never know, tapi kalau misalnya mereka tidak mau terlalu terburu-buru sekarang, biarkan dari tim Dewa United Esports ini jangan ngepick goblin dulu. Jangan sampai dia ngepick goblin dulu.
Oke.
Biarin Rit atau Romnya dulu yang main.
Mereka bisa coba buat buka rubinya dulu.
Iya, SPC mahal sih.
Rubinya bisa di flex juga kan.
Betul.
Dan itu untuk lebih mepet buat Dok.
Ya, aku setuju sih dengan pemilihan Ruby. Jadi satu prioritas juga bagi pemilih juga itu. Tapi ada Joe. Yang mereka ambil satu counter pick bisa beli dulu ya. Sebelum masuk ML pun memang sering banget menggunakan Joe. Dan ini yang bisa dibilang instan target lah ya. Satu dapat skill di mana nanti first damage-nya akan diserahkan secara siapa pada gilirannya diambil sama Hoshi.
Aku akan cukup worry sih tadi yang ngepick Chow sebenarnya. Karena kita tahu lah sosok dari seorang Reza ini sangat kuat dengan Chow-nya dan gak mungkin arah Yoshi tanpa ada pertimbangan untuk melepas Chow. Aku nonton mereka gak ngamanin edit dulu sebagai flex di pokok bisa di-rock bisa di-XP.
Iya, atau tadi ya perkembangan Ruby kan, jadi dan edit itu.
Ya, benar Ruby juga masih bisa flex gitu loh.
Tapi mungkin ada plan lesson tersendiri nih dengan ada Chow ya.
Tapi Chow-nya